Hi everybody, welcome to a very special edition of Community Calendar. We're going to talk about DNR, the DNR and deer season and so much more. As a matter of fact, first off, let me welcome Justin DeLoach. Justin, good to see you again, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. And as you well know, DNR is near and dear to my heart. Some of the viewers may or may not know this. My father was with the wildlife as a game warden, DNR officer from 1950 until he retired when he was 65. My oldest brother, Herman Jr., also 33 years with the DNR. So excellent. You guys are near and dear to my heart, grew up around it, and love what you guys do and respect what you do. And we're coming up on deer season.
Yes, sir.
And, the rules and regulations have been changing over the years, and so people who are trying to be compliant, they want to learn, the latest. And first, what I really like that has been added on, when I was growing up, they didn't really have what we would call the youth seasons as much as they do now.
Right.
And so I'm a big proponent of that. And so I think we've got one coming up very soon, as a matter of fact.
That's exactly right. We have one coming up on August 9th to begin the season. If they do harvest a deer on Youth Day, it will count towards one of their season totals, and they do have to be checked in.
Right.
Now, in saying that, they don't have to have their tags or a license during this first weekend.
Okay.
But if they haven't had hunter education, they do have to be accompanied by an adult.
All right. Accompanied by an adult, unless they already have the hunter education program.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Now, what's the ages?
So to be 17 years and younger.
Okay, so 17 years and younger, and obviously if you're at a certain age, you're probably better off with the adult as well.
Right, and the adult has to be 21 or older.
All right, now this is just on private lands?
Yes.
Okay, so private lands, 17 and under, youth hunt, and that's going to be on August the 9th. And there's also some near the end. You were going to say something, I'm sorry?
Yeah, and that's in our zone, so...
Oh, so it varies from different parts of the state.
Statewide.
So this is in the lower part of the South Carolina.
Right.
All right. And so we also have special youth seasons near the end of deer season, correct?
Correct. There will be one after the season goes out in January.
Okay, good. And speaking of seasons, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've always had one of the longest, if not the longest, deer season in the United States.
That's
running
correct.
From August the 15th to January 1st. One of the few places you can actually shoot a mature buck in velvet.
Correct.
All
correct.
right,
so if the season comes in August 15th and it runs until January 1st, the buck season, which is antler deer, is from August 15th to September 15th. And then September 15th, that's when antlerless deer come in.
I got you. And of course, that's a lot to do with, having the fawns and all that when it comes with the does. Now, we were talking about the tags that have come out, all right, and some people get a little confused because you've got doe tags and you've got buck tags, and some of them, well, just tell us the full breakdown.
All right, so for residents only, you'll get 3 buck tags and 2 doe tags with your hunting license when you purchase it. And that goes for everybody, as far as residents.
Right.
So even if they're under the age of 16, they still have to have their own tags to be able to harvest a deer.
Right.
And so you get 3 buck tags, 2 doe tags. You can buy up to 2 more buck tags, which have restrictions.
Now, those restrictions are like 4 points on one side and at least 12 inches wide?
That's correct. Okay. And then for the does, you can buy 1, 2, 3, or 4 tags. If you buy all 4, they'll give you 2 more for free.
So when you count that and the 2 that you get to begin with, you could actually have up to 8 does.
That's correct.
If you were to actually purchase that additional 4.
Correct.
Okay, and once again, it gives you 8 does that you can have, and then as much as what would be 4 or 5 bucks?
It'd be 5 antlered
bucks, and the last 2 have to fall under those restrictions.
Correct. Now you can purchase those at any time, and if you purchase them at the beginning of the season and you kill a buck that fits those requirements, you can go ahead and use those tags. You don't have to use them in any certain order.
Oh, okay. So just during that season.
Correct.
All right, good deal. All right, so all right, I understand that obviously last year I believe was it the first year that it was mandatory to do all the reporting?
It's the past couple of years it's been reporting, and then last year the public did an awesome job with the amount of deer that were killed. It was 90 percentile of reporting. So we want to thank everybody for what they did.
90 percentile in today's world is pretty huge, really.
Correct.
But we want to remind everybody, even if you harvest it on your own property, even if you butcher it yourself, you still have to report it.
Yes, every deer has to be reported, whether you use your personal tags or you use the deer quota program, which is the DQP program.
Right.
And typically that's on larger land where those are used.
Where they get extra tags because they've got such a big a population, so
Correct.
to speak. All right, now if they want to report, there's a couple of ways they can report, correct?
That's correct.
Tell us about
There's a hotline they can call, and or they can download the app, which I recommend the app. It's real simple to do. Just every deer has to be reported by midnight on the date of harvest.
Okay, and that's important to remember. So to be compliant, to be legal, make sure if you do harvest a deer this season, you got to report it, you got to get it in there, and it's good information. I mean, that's what it's all about. So
Right.
we keep an idea. We've got a handle on how many deer are actually being harvested, and we said what 174,000 last year.
174,000 deer were harvested last year.
And do you happen to know the buck-doe ratio on that?
Right off, I don't, but a lot of people, if they do have the app, there's a feature on the app where they can go and they can see where most of the deer were harvested.
Okay. Now, if somebody's interested in, I know the DNR has some wildlife areas where you can do draw hunts.
Correct.
And some areas are. Tell me about how they're open to the public. Explain all that.
So different areas throughout the state have WMAs, and like for instance, Donley, it's
Which is
open,
where we're at right now. By
It's
the way.
open to the public for archery, and for the rifle hunts, there's a lottery. So it would be a draw hunt for that.
Okay, rifle is a draw hunt. Archery is you just come in and register.
Correct.
And first come, first served as far as stands and that sort
Right.
of thing?
You just come in. You can do some scouting, and they have a big map where you can go and place your pin on the board and have at it.
All right, and this is a huge former plantation, so lots of opportunities.
That's
and,
right.
and I'm assuming you guys are real careful about management, that sort of thing.
Yep.
All right, well, good deal. All right, so Donley obviously is one of those, but there's multiple places all across the Low Country.
Right. There's a list of them. If you pick up a rules and regs, you can see all of the WMAs and the regulations involved with each one.
I'm glad you brought up the rules and regs. You guys, obviously you got the website, which I've
Right.
got downloaded the app on my phone. But if somebody wants to, old school, have the hard copy, now you can get those at, really, you were saying like Walmart,
Right.
places like that?
Colleton County, you can get them from Ace Hardware, you can get them from Walmart, Low Country Marine. There's various places throughout the county where you can pick them up. A couple of gas stations, and you can have it in your fingertips.
And sometimes, obviously different zones have different regulations, different areas you go to are going to have different rules and regulations as well. So really that's a great way to keep up with it. If you know where you're going, you can look it up and say, okay, this is what I have to do to make sure I'm legal.
Right. I refer everyone to the rules and regs if you're going to be hunting.
All right, it makes perfect sense because some of them, to be honest, I've been around all my life. Some of it can be a little confusing, so you got to
Right.
make sure you're in compliance.
That's right. That's right.
A good deal. I've reached that age of we were talking about what we used to call gratis license. Now they're called the senior license.
Yes, sir.
If somebody's getting to a certain age, tell us a little bit of how old you have to be and what that's all about.
So July 1st, 1940 and before was the gratis license. Now July 1st, 1940 and after is the senior lifetime license. And when you get that, it pretty much has everything incorporated to where you can go and hunt and fish and everything. Most everything will be covered with that license. You pay the $9 one-time fee
Right.
when you turn 64, and then you will continue to get it.
And, speaking of lifetime, well, firstly, you have to be a resident, correct?
Correct.
All right, so you have to be a resident of South Carolina. And then also there, if you wanted to give a gift of a lifetime, do they still do where you can purchase lifetime licenses
That's
depending on your age?
Yeah, the parent of whoever you're getting it for has to have a South Carolina driver's license,
Right.
and it varies on cost depending on how old
Right.
whoever you're buying it for is.
So if you're raising a couple of sports people in your family, sportsmen, sportswomen, that would be a great gift.
Right. You just have to double check on when you're buying those licenses and making sure you're getting everything, because they differ from the senior license depending on what you're buying.
Makes perfect sense. All right, now we've hit on a good bit on when it comes to deer season and everything else coming up. Is there some other things you need to let everybody know and what they need to do?
Just thank everyone for all of the reporting from the prior couple of years, and please continue to report and just be safe.
All right, I've got another question for you as well. Do they still do, if you happen to kill like a really monster buck, do they still have where they get together and they do the measurements and all that for the
Right.
record book?
You can get in touch with our biologists throughout the state, and they will score it for you. Or at our big Palmetto Sportsman's Classic, they have it set up to where they can score any buck.
All right, fantastic. Of course, we've got some really nice, huge deer around this area, not as much as some other parts of the United States, but we do have a great population and certainly a lot of opportunities out there.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break. Once again, we're talking to Justin DeLoach with the DNR. We're out at Donley, which, by the way, if you ever get a chance, you want to see a beautiful piece of the low country, come in and drop in and check this place out. It's absolutely beautiful. It's open to the public at certain times of year. Of course, some restrictions, but with that being said and done, definitely being well managed out here with the Donley. We're going to be right back with a very special edition of PRTC's Community Calendar, talking about deer season and so much more. I'm Miles Crosby. We'll be right back. Welcome back once again to a very special edition of PRTC's Community Calendar. We're talking about DNR, and we're talking about deer season and so much more. We're actually at the Donley right now, which is a place that you can do youth hunts and also some draw hunts out here. And we're talking to Justin DeLoach. Justin, once again, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you guys do. We talked about my background with my father and brother with the DNR, and respect all you guys. Now, one of the things we were talking about, the different zones, and we got to reiterate, and we were talking earlier, we were talking about Zone 3, which is where we're at, correct?
That's correct. Just the August 9th youth hunt is, for our zone. So if you are going out this coming weekend, just make sure which zone you're in, and make sure you correlate it with, make sure the season's in.
And to qualify as a youth, you have to be 17 or younger, and if you don't have your hunter education, then you have to be accompanied by an adult.
21 or older.
That has one. Okay. And then if you really want to know all the zones and regulations and the breakdown, we also have a special magazine or the app for that.
That's correct. But I just make sure everybody picks up a copy or looks on our website to look at the hunt and fish regulation, just so they know. And the youth hunt after the season is January 3rd.
Okay.
The one before the season, which is August 9th, in our zone is one buck minimum. Right. And then after the season, it can be either sex, two deer limit.
All right, now the one buck for the early season on the 9th, it has to be at least, an inch long?
Yeah, a legal buck as far as the laws, yes.
Right, so a legal buck, and that you can take one August 9th if you're a youth. Yep. And then January the 3rd, you can take either a doe or a buck?
But you can take one of each. It's just a two limit minimum.
Yep. Okay, all right, good to know. And then, of course, our main season runs from August 15th to January the 1st. Correct. Now, sometimes people, if they're, let's say they're a property owner, and, there are some bad actors out there. Maybe somebody is doing something illegal, or maybe they don't know what they're doing is illegal. If they want to, talk to somebody from the DNR, what do they need to do to find out about that?
They can definitely give us a call through our dispatch, which is 24/7. It's the number's 1-800-922-5431, and just tell them where the problem is occurring, right? And our dispatch will get it out to an officer, and we'll look into it.
All right, good deal. Like I said, we appreciate what you guys do, because a lot of people, I think, want to follow rules and regulations, but then there's some. That's why you guys got to do what you do.
That's
what you got to do. All right, now we've hit on a lot of stuff, but as we get ready to wrap things up, is there anything else we need to reiterate?
Just be safe, and make sure you report all deer that are harvested.
Okay, whether you're carrying it to a processor, whether you shot it on your own property, whether you're processing it yourself, still, once again, you've got to report.
You get that number that comes once you report it, and whether it's you or somebody else taking it to the processor, just send that number with them.
All right. Once again, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Justin, always a pleasure. Good to see you again,
yes,
my friend.
Yes, sir.
And come out and see the Donley. These guys do a wonderful job. It's a beautiful location, one of many that we have throughout the Low Country. And if you haven't been a part of it, well, you're missing out, especially if you're a hunter or just somebody who wants to see the outdoors. It's beautiful out here. But once again, for Justin DeLoach, and for the DNR, I'm Miles Crosby with PRTC. Thanks for watching.